How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing you guys a brand new segment for today, folks. And for today's segment, guys, we are going to be talking about Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2, Episode 13, guys. Or Season 2, Episode 1, as many of you guys like to actually call it. But I like to call it Episode 13. Because, guys, bringing it back into Bungou Stray Dogs, guys, it was just only like a couple months ago, about 4 months ago, I'm assuming, when Bungou Stray Dogs just ended. And it ended very well, guys. We ended back with the guild actually gonna have I would say they're gonna start facing off against the Port Mafia and the detective agency. That's where the last episode left us all off, and we were all anticipating as to what episode 13 was gonna bring. And like I said, episode 13 is still bringing in the hype of Bungou Stray Dogs, guys. It was a very different episode, guys. It's straight off from the original storyline as to what was going on, but I'm wondering what the animators are thinking, and I'm assuming it's probably what this episode that has already been shown. I'm assuming it has to deal with more of the overall aspect of the storyline itself than the individual storylines, because in this episode, guys, episode 13, it was involved about Danzai's past with the Port Mafia, and that's what I was really excited about for this episode, was because we were actually told in many episodes in the first season that Danzai was actually part of the Port Mafia, and the way that I would say the Port Mafia was describing him as someone that was a very fearful person, and we were wondering as to what Danzai was doing, what were his characteristics back when he was in the Port Mafia. And yes, some of those answers have been answered here, guys, in this episode. And I love this episode, guys. Episode 13 was definitely off the hook, guys. I was loving it for the fact that because of the fact that episode 13, guys, it was more along the lines that it had a very nostalgic 1920s kind of era of the theme that it was kind of going for, and I love that, you know. It had the roaring 20s theme going on there, and that's what I'm assuming that it's kind of going with that theme, because of the fact that we're going to be involved with the guild members himself, I'm assuming for season 2, so they're probably going to go with that theme, kind of starting off there. So actually this episode was more dark when it came to actually watching this episode, guys. We're actually watching as the hero I would say one of the heroes become an anti-villain, or a villain in a sense, guys. That's what I was loving. And Danzai, guys, in this episode was very, very different, guys. It was very different. And the reason I say it was very different because his personality was the same, guys. His personality was still the same as, loving, having a suicidal thoughts. He's still very friendly when it comes to being close to his own friends. But it's just that we never got to see him as a leader. That's the thing that was very different, and he was very powerful too. We never seen him as a leader, and very seriously, with that in a sense, guys, when he was with the Port Mafia, you could kind of see that his attitude has changed. You could literally clearly see it too. And when I was watching the episode, guys, Danzai's character was very stoic when it came to actually being part of the Port Mafia, because of the fact that when he's, like I said, when he's with his friends, yes, he's that very cheerful, suicidal maniac, but when it came down to business, he was very stoic, and he had a very strong demeanor that, it meant someone that you would not want to mess with, and he was just straight of business. And by that I mean he had a very villain-esque, I would say, personality. That in my honest opinion, he really did. He actually did, guys. And but I'm loving it. This past and backstory that we're getting with Danzai is very interesting, and actually it leads on to episode 14, guys. It didn't just left here, guys. No. There were so many underwhelming themes involved in this episode, and it seems that we're involved with other two characters, guys. And one of the characters is Ango Sakaguchi, and the other character is Sakunosuke Oda. These two characters are apparently the best friends of Danzai himself within the Port Mafia, you guys say. We were never introduced to these two characters in season 1, so these two characters are very fresh and I would say these characters are actually outstanding, guys. The cast that has been introduced into season 2 is very well, guys. It just seems that because of the fact that the Port Mafia has even their own, I would say, their own dilemmas that they're actually facing, and episode 13 is actually explaining that, guys. I would say Port Mafia actually has a traitor in the midst of their actually infiltrated ranks, guys. And that's the thing about the Port Mafia. We were always shown that it was a very, I would say, calm, collected, and organized organization. But in this episode, we've kind of seen that it's been falling apart when Danza was in there. And it actually is very interesting for us viewers because we're wondering as to who really is the traitor. Who is a traitor? No, the episode did speculate that it was actually Ango Sakaguchi, because for a fact that he hasn't been shown from the beginning to the first part. When he was shown, yes, he was shown he was drinking at a bar with Oda himself right there. And no, guys, I'm not talking about Oda from One Piece. No, Oda is actually the name of the Poor Mafia executive, which is funny though, because Oda is an author and artist, so that's hilarious. That's hilarious, guys. But back to the main point. With Bungou Stray Dogs, like I said, Ango wasn't actually involved throughout the whole episode. They were actually looking for Ango, and Ango is kind of reminds me of the 91 Days, where he's basically that has information for the Port Mafia and has business, I would say, information. He has financial information. He has almost everything that the Port Mafia that has, and they actually look to when it comes to actually handling all the business sides aspects of the Port Mafia. And he actually has, I would say, information as to high executive members too. So Ango is a very important person that the Port Mafia is actually looking for. And even the Port Mafia leader Oigai Mori was actually distressed. He was actually asking Sakonosuke Oda to actually tell him, can you go look for this guy? Even though he's a very important figure, he's still a close friend of mine, and I want you to actually go help and see if he's actually in any trouble. And I was thinking to myself, Oigai Mori, the way that this character is actually described now in this in this season, now that he's been introduced more thoroughly, he is seen as a gentleman. Don't get me wrong, he has a very gentleman behavior, but you could still tell that he's a mobster still. In the end of the day, he's a monster. And the way that his dialogue is involved with the Port Mafia members, it seems that it's like one foot is halfway out the door, while one, like, his it's just the way that he's kind of describing himself. It's kind of like, how would I say, it's very, very clever, guys. Like the way that Oigai Mori is, his character is very clever because of the fact that there is still some mystery involved in this character, and he is very, very, I would say, very careful and cautious when he's actually handling with the Port Mafia members, because you can clearly see that he enjoys the Port Mafia members. He can clearly see that with each member that he has, the family grows stronger. So it goes along to say that Oigai Mori is someone to be feared too, because that gentleman behavior is just masking that demon that he's actually holding within. And that's what I'm actually interested in looking at Oigai Mori. And we haven't seen his power yet too. We have yet to see it. So we're wondering what it was. Now, we were involved with many of the other Port Mafia members. Of course, Danza, we already know what his power was. No longer human, which kind of nullifies all the other ones. By the way, that's my cat, by the way. But with Ango's, we haven't been actually looked at what his power was. We're wondering maybe that the next episode are going to involve with him. But Sakonosuke Oda's, they actually showed his power, and his power was very interesting and a very fan favorite of many people who love superpowers, and it is actually time control, guys. This character has one of the most OP powers ever. Time control. He can actually look into the future and look to see 7 seconds into the future and see what actually is going to happen. In the whole entire series of Bungou Stray Dogs, we actually got a headshot of Sakonosuke Oda getting shot in the head, and it was very interesting to see it, because many viewers thought that he actually did die, but that's where we were witnessing his power involving with Sakonosuke Oda. And it was actually very interesting. Don't get me wrong, guys. I was shocked and thinking wow, they actually killed this character in the first episode. I actually was thought maybe this character might have died later on in the series, but no, first episode. And Sakonosuke Oda is a very intriguing character, guys. He is very intriguing because even with his powers, even Oigai Mori, the leader of the Port Mafia, was actually telling him too, why do you have guns that you never use? And I was thinking to myself, that's interesting, we're just barely getting introduced into this character and he doesn't use these guns. That's actually very interesting, but he does use it in the episode itself though. But, like I said, a lot can happen in the later episodes. But episode 13, guys, starts off great. I highly recommend it. Bungou Stray Dogs is up to its hype. I am loving for the overall aspect of what's going on. Now, we aren't involved with any of the detective agency members because, this is a backstory right now. This is a backstory, and we're wondering what's going to happen with this backstory, and it seems to be that we're actually involved with a brand new I would say, a new like organization called Mimic, and it seems that probably Ongo's involved with Mimic. This Mimic group, I'm not even too sure. Maybe they're another group of literary writers that we aren't familiar with. Though maybe we are involved with Western, Eastern. Maybe it's a combination of both. We don't know that for sure with Mimic. I am actually interested in what's going on with Mimic. But like I said, guys, lots can happen for episode 14. I can't wait. October is here, and Bungou Stray Dogs is living up to its hype, guys. Very entertaining, guys. Very entertaining. I'm loving, like I said, I'm loving that 1920s era style that's actually involved with it, because we actually get to see, I would say, more of a mob kind of mentality for this entire series, since Bungou Stray Dogs kind of involves with these kind of villains themselves, but with superpowers. But by the way, guys, we might also get involved to see why I would say Poor Mafia wants Atsushi himself, but maybe not, because it would seem that the guild wanted them, but maybe we might get involved with the guild, solely involved with the Poor Mafia right now, because it seems that the Poor Mafia knows who they were in the first season, since they're I would say associated with these characters. But that's all I have to say for this episode, guys. Like I said, it was very entertaining, very well thought out. The way it starts off, very dark. It still has a little bit of the humor of Bungou Stray Dogs involved with Danzai's, uniqueness. But other than that, guys, can't wait. I can't wait for this whole entire series, guys. But let me know down in the comment section below, guys. What do you guys think about this episode? What do you guys think about the group Mimic? What do you guys think about Danzai's actually character involved with the Poor Mafia? Do you guys think it's the same, or do you guys think it's different? Because I think it's a little bit different. It's actually different. You can clearly tell that the way that he's kind of describing himself is very different. It's like a more darker demeanor, in my honest opinion. And what do you guys think of, I would say, Ongo's power? What do you guys think his power is going to be shown to be? And do you guys think Ongo is the traitor too involved in this episode, guys? Because a lot of clues are kind of leading up to Ongo, but maybe it's not Ongo. Maybe it could be someone that we haven't been introduced yet. A lot can happen in this episode. I mean, in this series, guys. A lot can happen. But like I said, that's all for today's episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys enjoyed this video, give a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, guys, as I'll be doing more Bungou Stray Dogs anime related content. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, sign.